Now, what do we have here? Ah! Excuse me, but I think you'll find that is mine. Well, I shall be taking it. Well, I can't let you get away with that. Look! Thieving bastard, trying to steal my legacy of time. Oh, how could you? How could you? Bastard. I'm not actually wearing my watch, but my wrist is telling me it's now time for the Veiled Leopard review. Right, let's go. Ooh. Right. Are we sitting comfortably? Good. Then I'll begin. Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic, and I review it because I want to. And hey, look everyone, I found a hat, well, I found the hat I was originally looking for the last time that resembles more the hats the Nostalgia Critic wears, so to complete my parody. But I couldn't find it last time, so I had to wear a different one. But I managed to find it in the time between reviews, so here we go. Let us get right down into this video. Now, last time I did a NC parody, I reviewed the free Doctor Who audio Cuddlesome, which was in turn a sequel to a review that I did last August about free Doctor Who audios from Big Finish. And Big Finish then released Cuddlesome as a free gift, so I then reviewed that. And note, these are only the complete free stories, not extracts or part of a story like, let's say, Masters of Earth Part 1, the Rani Elite Part 1, or an extract of a story. We're not talking about those. No, we're talking about 100% free stories. And here is another free story that isn't free on the Big Finish website, unless you've got a DWN code for it. But you can find it on SoundCloud. And this is like Cuddlesome, it's another Doctor Who magazine exclusive story, and that has not yet to be released, and this is The Veiled Leopard. Now, this story was originally released in a Doctor Who magazine issue in 2006. The number of issue will now appear on screen now, if my future self can find it and edit it in. And so the story was released there, and is and also released as a special gift for a later Doctor Who magazine, which will be included here. And if I can find it. And yeah, so it's only exclusive for those, CD for the first one and download for the second one. However, you can find it on SoundCloud. Now, I will say that the sound on the version on SoundCloud, the sound is a bit quieter and slightly muffled, but you can still hear it. You can still understand what's going on clearly. But hopefully those with the CD or the download will have a much more clearer sounding version. Otherwise, then Big Finish need to double check what sound editing system they used for that story, or sound equipment they used. But if those normal ones are clear, crisp as per usual, then yeah, it's just the just the way it's transitioned onto SoundCloud. So how does the Veiled Leopard stand out? Well, the plot sees the Fifth Doctor and the Seventh Doctor basically hatching a plan to protect/steal a diamond called the Veiled Leopard, which is actually the home of a whole new race, or a piece of technology. I can't quite remember. So the Fifth Doctor asks Perry and Erimem to go in and make sure the diamond doesn't get stolen by any wannabe thieves, whilst the Seventh Doctor then sends Ace and Hex in to then steal the diamond after everyone else has been prevented by Perry and Ehrman. They've got to go in. Of course, neither group know exactly what's going on during the story. And so, the first episode follows Perry and Ehrman as they interact with the party, and it's kind of revealed that the diamond belongs to Ehrman's father, or at least originally. It may have been stolen in some tomb grave robbing, which was all arranged back in Egyptian times. And to be honest, grave robbing was a bit of arranged in the Victorian times as well, and the early 20th century. But yes, they mingle with the guests, and we get introduced to the party host, of another who basically built his own wealth up, another guy who built his wealth up, and a lady who was born into wealth. And then soon they start, after mingling with the guests a little bit and having fun with the lady, they then go up to try and make sure that the diamond isn't stolen, and they soon realise that the lady that they were talking to does in fact want to steal the diamond, and they catch her, and they eventually persuade her not to steal it. She's actually kind of a cat burglar in a way, and it turns out that she had been talking about a group of cat burglaries by a jewel thief called Janus, who's operating them, and it turns out that she was the Janus, and there was also an imposter going around, which we might have seen that person later on in the Ace Hex story. We might have seen the impersonator, possibly. And it also turns out that she's a Robin Hood type of character. She's stealing from the rich and giving it to to people less beneficial. But Perry and Ehrman are able to convince her to leave this diamond, and they escape before someone comes. And then we come to it also turns out that the second guy who built himself up was an accomplice alongside the butler / chauffeur, and they all go down to the party at the end. Although the guy who built himself up also comes up to try and have a go at stealing the diamond. And this is where we come into part 2. Ace and Hex are also mingling with the guests, with Hex trying to be kind of like a James Bond type of character, with Ace having a lot of fun, and she also has a bit of a gamble, while Perry and Ehrman are more in the dance room area of the casino. It's set in a Monte Carlo casino in 1966, whilst Ace and Hex are in the more casino area. Perry and Ehrman are more in the ballroom area, I suppose. Eventually, Hex heads upstairs to try and steal the diamond, where he meets the accomplice of the lady thief, and also the kind of aware of another thief who's stealing the diamond on behalf of the owner, to be honest, as part of an insurance fraud. And it's sort of implied, I'm not really sure, that the guy he's hired might be the impersonator thief, who is not stealing from the rich to give to the poor, but just stealing from the rich, trying to make himself a bit more wealthy, perhaps. So Ace and the accomplice of the first thief get themselves out, whilst the other guy comes in to steal the diamonds. But Hex has swapped the diamond with some fakes. He's given a fake to the impersonator to sell on the black. He's put a fake in the safe for the impersonator to steal, and he's given a fake to the accomplice to then sell on, and he's taken the original. And then he and Ace then organise a trap for the impersonator thief who steals one of the fake diamonds from the safe, and have him shown to be a thief, and even claim him to be working with the manager as part of an insurance fraud scheme. And eventually the police turn up to question them, and Ace and Hex then have to explain to the lady cat burglar and her accomplice exactly what's going on. And the lady cat, the last line of the story is the lady cat burglar saying that she has two people that she thinks should hear this as well, implying that Perry and Ehrman should hear this. The story does kind of stop there, so we don't actually know if Perry and Ehrman meet Ace and Hex after the event of the story, and they kind of get involved with the explanations, and they kind of work out, now it all makes sense. But you know, it sounds like something you can leave up for your own interpretation. Maybe it'll be a bonus 10-minute short later down the line. That would have been nice. But on the whole, the Veiled Leopard is a nice story. I mean, there's not much going for it, but there is some nice, it's nice stuff. And also there's reference to James Bond in part 1, where Perry used to watch the Bond films with her dad. Lots of great Bond references, being a Bond fan as well as a Doctor Who fan. And I also like how the Diamonds ties in with Erimem. I think that's done brilliantly in a way, and how they're wearing Egyptian costumes in the fancy dress ballroom party. And the whole scheme that Ace and Hex come up is actually really good. And I like how there are some Easter eggs hidden away in parts of the story that imply to the other pair of companions' existence in the story we're featuring the ones we're following. For example, there's some sneaky references to Perry and Erimem earlier on when we're following Ace and Hex, and there may be references to Ace and Hex when we're following Perry and Erimem, possibly. So that's cool. And I think everyone does a brilliant job. Our usual cast of companions, Nicola Bryant, Caroline Morris, Sophie Aldred, and Philip Oliver, fantastic as per usual. They do a brilliant job. And the best parts about these stories are basically the companions, especially Perry and Erimem. They're just talking and delivering exposition, and it's actually quite interesting. I mean, you've got to make that happen with audio. You've got to make exposition and talking interesting, because that's all you're going to, because you've got to be hearing it and you can't see it. But the interactions between the two are just brilliant. They're really fun, and it's fun to hear them be sisters, daughters of a certain Dr. Smith, the Fifth Doctor, whilst Ace and Hex are posing as a couple, I suppose. I wonder who the Seventh Doctor would have posed as. Maybe Ace's father or something. Yeah, it's quite fun listening to the companions interact, and it's also great to hear them interacting with the other characters, such as the manager, the cat burglar lady, her accomplice, the thief guy. Well, they don't really interact with the other thief guy, but it's fun to hear him interact with the hotel manager. And yeah, and also part 2 also has a scene where cat burglar lady and her accomplice have a bit of a scene where they actually show that they're pretending to dislike each other in part 1, because they're actually they're co-conspirators, cohorts in a thievery. Burglary, not a robbery. According to Ant-Man, burglars are robbers who robbery involves arms and weapons. Burglary doesn't. Okay, so it's a burglary then. So yeah, and it's really great, and we got some other fun minor characters there, here and there, and it's fun to have this set as a party. But it isn't really a big story, and it does kind of meander a little bit in the middle of both episodes before it gets to the point, especially in part 1. But and also the end, when they do kind of go upstairs for a bit, it does take a bit of a time. But on the whole, it's done really interestingly and really well. So I'm going to give The Veiled Leopard an 8 out of 10. I think it's a good little story. I think it's fine for what it is. And the best bits are easily the stuff with the companions. They're just working off each other brilliantly and really enjoyable and really fun. It's great to listen to, and it just creates a brilliant atmosphere. And yeah, it's all done in a brilliant, really enjoyable way. So that's The Veiled Leopard. I hope you enjoyed that. Anyway, that's it from me. Thank you for watching. I'm the Nostalgia Critic, and I review it because I want to. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.